Wait, what? Sorry, I don't understand. Hold on. You know, this is one thing I don't understand. You have to like... Oh, we're live. Hi, everybody. Okay. Welcome to Television Nation Live. I'm really excited to have some new people. We're here to talk about the CLOWD Film Festival, the AI CLOWD Film Festival. And we've got some really interesting topics to cover here. And I'd like to, at first, introduce myself, which I'm Tracy Swedlow. And of course, I'm the editor and executive producer of the TV of Tomorrow show and these Television Nation shows that we do as pre-recorded or live stream. This is going out on LinkedIn right now and on YouTube, our YouTube channel at TV of Tomorrow. And I'm also welcoming to the stage Curt Doty, who is the founder of this new AI film festival called CLOWD, C-L-O-W-D. And I will momentarily show you a little visual video that explains the festival. And of course, also Tony Mugavero. From RAD, who is going to provide some distribution for the artists who are entering this contest and do all kinds of other things. So, but Curt, let's hear a little bit more about the deadlines coming up. What are the themes of this CLOWD Film Festival? And just the details that's happening in Glendale, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so what people need to know right now is that the early bird deadline and pricing, early bird pricing, ends on June 29th. So that's rapidly approaching. And then the final deadline is August 19th. So after the early bird, you have about a month and a half to submit or make brand new AI films if you want, it doesn't matter. Our event airing the finalists and the winners is October 7 and 8 in Glendale, California, USA, at the beautiful Alex Theater, a 100-year-old majestic movie palace that used to premiere Walt Disney's films back in the day. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Plus, Glendale's my hometown. I was born there. So the prodigal son returns, and I think it's a great story. And we're getting a lot of submissions, and there's some really interesting films that I have to review them all first before I send them to the judges. And so that's exciting. In terms of pricing, and there's Lisa. In terms of pricing, our early bird pricing is $38, and then regular pricing is $68. So hopefully people will take the next 3 days to, or 2 days to really enter a lot of their films, and they can enter up to 10, and it can go back in history 3 years. So it's really wide open for people to enter their best stuff, not just their newest stuff, but all kinds of stuff. So we're excited about that.
I think it's going to be great to show this to an audience, you know, in one place and one big screen in the film, in like a film environment. I think that's going to be very exciting. Well, welcome to Television Nation, Lisa Trublet de Nermont.
Oh, there we go. You got it.
Who is the founder and CEO of Sinima, and I believe that's about helping creators, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I know I want to have you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves, but I actually would like to show just briefly a little promo for the CLOWD Film Festival before we go into the rest of the interview. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
All right. All right.
It's a voice you've been carrying for years.
Uh-oh. My fault.
It started at the beginning.
A conversation you never forgot. A love story. A story of conflict. Of loss. Of hope. Maybe it's a character waiting to be heard, a moment waiting to be remembered, a world waiting to exist. Stories are how we understand each other, how we imagine what comes next. Now there's a new canvas, a new way to create. A new language for cinematic storytelling. Put the art into artificial intelligence and tell the story only you can tell. Enter CLOWD, the AI Film Festival.
Okay, where we were back. There we
Pretty
go.
awesome.
And we're back.
All right. Thanks so much. That's beautifully done, Curt.
Thank you very much. Yeah, all original stuff I created. I wish I was using Lisa's voice because it sounded like Lisa, but I went for the
Anytime,
Hayden
Curt,
avatar
anytime.
voice. So. I'm a sucker for the English accent, if not the Afrikaner accent. So.
Okay, so it's nice to see that the founder of the festival can actually be a creator himself. So good for you. I'm happy.
Well, yeah, that's a story there because I am creative. I've been a creative for 30 years and, 10 years in television and 10 years in film. And I've marketed hundreds of movies, made all kinds of trailers and, so I figure, why can't someone who's creative run one of these festivals instead of, a car dealer from Pacoima or, two dudes from Austin. So I figure I'm qualified just like anybody else is, if not better.
All right, so let's see. So let's definitely get into discussing how you and Tony, how you guys got involved in this film festival. Are you friends with Curt, or did you why did you join this production?
Tony, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. We got connected through a mutual friend. And I'm surprised that we haven't met sooner. But, I think we share a vision philosophically for how film festivals should be run, how creators should be discovered. We, as a distribution platform, are accepting of all different kinds of content. It doesn't have to be, one specific style that we're going for. It can be anything from music videos to animation to, real life. And it's really more about the using these tools to tell stories that may not have ever been told in the first place, which I think is the most powerful piece of AI being built into the tool chain. And so, we have obviously applications everywhere on smart TVs and mobile devices and game consoles and things like that. So, we were excited to be involved and wanted to try to promote as much as we could and love what Curt is doing. So that's kind of how we got involved. We're super excited about it.
And you are going to be a distribution outlet for the winners of this contest, correct? Of course, from RAD. So explain shortly. Tell us a little bit about RAD.
So RAD is a creator platform primarily. Although we've done work with major movie studios, we've done things in the early days with VR. We've done things with like NFTs and blockchain, and now we're doing things in AI storytelling. And I think we've always looked at how we can push the boundaries of storytelling with new technologies, and so that's been us as a platform. And we have, like I said, we have apps on all major streaming devices, and we work across the gamut. We are in the process currently. It's a little bit of alpha that your audience is getting the first info on, but we're releasing the ability for creators to charge as whatever they want for their own subscriptions on their own channels. Previously, we had a master subscription, essentially kind of more like a Netflix type thing. And if you subscribe to that, then you could get premium content that creators had opted into. But now we're releasing individual creator subscriptions as well. And so, we'll be rolling that out over the next couple of weeks. And that's pretty exciting. And so, that's us from a streaming platform perspective. We're direct to consumer. We have a ton of creator-centric tools, things like AI upscaling built in that like we built. We don't wrap another company. We built AI upscaling. We have viral prediction that we built for reviewing thumbnails and titles and descriptions and categories, and then running it through a custom machine learning engine that we built, and it'll do click-through rate analysis and viral prediction and things like that. Up mixing of audio, which all the audio that gets generated by AI engines is stereo. So we built AI up mixing into surround sound and subtitles.
You're getting rid of a whole series of TV companies, in the streaming connected TV space by enabling all of that. A lot of these companies that we've been working with for many years, you're compressing all of those services.
Yeah. So we've just seen things evolve, and I'm an engineer. My background is engineering and building content distribution networks since for 20 years. So it's all just kind of very natural. The one other piece that I'll mention too that we just rolled out and we're expanding on now because we have a number of channel partners coming in is we used to redistribute fast channels through RAD. And so we worked with all the fast channel platforms to bring in their streams and then redistribute them through us. But essentially we just had so many requests to do it directly that we built in a full-blown like TV programming, like linear programming. You can basically build your own TV channels now inside RAD. So you build out a playlist and put all the content in there and then say, make this a live linear TV channel, and it'll make it live. And so that's included in just like the Creator Plus package, which is only $30 a month. And a lot of these, the lowest end of the fast channel market is even still pretty expensive for most people. So we wanted to make it way more accessible for, more of a kind of a creator or independent TV channel. So yeah, those are all the things that we kind of recently rolled out. But yeah, and we got investors like Sony and Disney, and we've been kind of playing in the space of the intersection of media and technology and how we can improve distribution and enable these creators to tell better stories at scale. So yeah, that's us. That's the overview.
Well, I mean, the next question I would like to ask, but I want to talk to Lisa, but think about it, because then I want you both to answer it, which is how to elevate all of that to the deck. What are the relationships with the OEMs, with the Vizios and Samsungs of the world, Roku, to elevate your app, your window into all of that content? And how do the creators, Lisa, how are you working with creators to elevate their content, to develop this so that it's ready to distribute on TV or on all platforms?
It's a great question. I should probably do a little intro on what Sinima actually is, because I think when I launched Sinima I started building Sinima about 1.5 years ago, and it came out from a 3 o'clock in the morning brain fart, if you will, to try to figure out a way to reemploy a disenfranchised community. And the community that I'm talking very specifically about are the filmmakers, the artists, the people behind the scenes, the people who are the ones that are genuinely getting impacted by AI right now. And I felt like there was a world where both could exist, right? I think that right now we're seeing a dichotomy between people who absolutely hate AI and want the completely anti-AI revolution. And then you're getting this broad spectrum of filmmakers who are like, okay, I don't like what they've done to my work. I don't appreciate that they didn't ask for permission, but I'm open to learning more. And that is the space that we are living and breathing in with Sinima. So Sinima is the creator ownership platform. We make sure that anybody that comes to our platform can safely and securely host their work without getting scraped by AI. The other component to what we're doing is we also offer protection that was typically only available for big studio networks. We're also democratizing the ability to securely protect your work on your hosting environment. So unlike Vimeo or other hosting platforms, really anybody, it's like a free-for-all at that point. The security is pretty strong, but you still can't mitigate or protect your work moving forward. And so I used to work in cyber tech as well as being a Hollywood creative producer. So my journey to Sinima was quite interesting. born and raised South Africa. That's where the accent is coming from. A little bit of England sprinkled in there, a little bit of LA Valley girl sprinkled in there. My daughter's giving me the thumbs up. So she's been building alongside. She's been building alongside me the whole time. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I got this wealth of experience around all different continents, and specifically in the film industry, but also the technology space and the cybersecurity space, and just like understanding how differently these worlds were communicating and talking, and their financial stacks and their technology stacks and their security chains. Now seeing everything merge together with the overlay of AI has just completely broken down barriers that weren't there before in a bad way, right? So more people are exposed, more people are having their work taken from them. Even the platforms that you think that you're safe on, like the Getty and the Shutterstocks, they're brokering deals without the creatives in the room. So my work at Sinima comes into the play where we are the only
Google just made a massive investment in Getty. Was it Google?
Oh, yes. Let's talk about that for a second, shall we? So, you know, these major platforms are brokering these deals with really big technology companies, but guess who doesn't get a piece of that pie? The creatives. So, I mean, these deals are enormous. I mean, I think like we're talking like triple-digit millions, right? Like sometimes double-digit millions. And the creators are getting peanuts on the penny. I think it's 4 cents the penny or something, or 4 cents the dollar or something. Where we come in is we are the platform for creative ownership, right? So it's hosting, protection, monetization, as well as our North Star, which is ultimately funding that will feed the entire chain again for the creatives. So the monetization feeds the fund that can help you fund your next project. We're the first of its kind. There's a lot going into it behind the scenes. We're an all-female technology AI team. We're all ex-Vimeo. And we are really proud of the work that we're building. We are for the creatives. We are building for the filmmakers who do not want to lose their legacy, but also don't want to get left behind in the AI supply chain, essentially. But also just, it's a very fine line that we're living in right now with cinema, because like I said, we're dealing with this very disgruntled audience who want nothing to do with AI. But we're hyper aware that there are this audience that are curious, but they've been burned. And so we are going to be the person for them to feel safe with their protected asset hosting, to be able to monetize. And so what we do is we activate their vault with our proprietary technology that basically reveals licensing opportunities to them, either by original sources or AI model trainers that have come to us ethically and said, hey, we don't want to get sued. We want to train ethically on rights cleared content that is super diverse. We have, because of my international strings across the planet, I've got really great insight into all of these little tiny film hubs where everybody has got work that they don't want to train on AI without getting paid. I think the best part about cinema, and something that we're really, really proud of, is that we're flipping the script on how creatives are getting paid. You know, for example, Getty, Shutterstock, those other platforms have been doing, you know, legacy stuff for many, many years, and good on them, but I still don't feel like the creatives are treated right. They are brokering deals up, you know, multi-million-dollar deals, and the creatives are earning like $15, $30, $150. It's just insane. And all of that information is getting buried in the terms and conditions, and the creatives don't even know that. And so what Sinima does is that when we reveal licensing opportunities to you for AI model companies that are interested in training on your work, we pay you 21 times more. So instead of $150, you're going to get $150,000, because these deals, minimum buy-in deals, average between the lowest deals around $1 million a deal. We have a buyer pool that all creators can contribute to. There's a cap to that pool, and we make sure that the upside on that is a 70% take. So the creator will get a 70% take on that, plus a 15% reserve, up to 85% payout to the creator. And the way that we can do that is because we are not a massive historical backlog legacy system. We're moving fast with AI. We're innovating. We are able to also launch different revenue streams through subscription models as well as AI. So we're just really proud of the work that we're doing. And I think that's why I wanted to just share that a little bit, because it is a bit different to, you know, we're not another generative AI tool. We are AI for good for the creatives. And we hope that more people will learn about cinema.
That was a lot that you just packed in.
Sorry.
Awesome.
No, that's okay. No, it's all very important information, and it's incredible that you have such a handle on this, you know, the potential for this economy. And that actually makes me think that potentially the Cloud, you know, Film Festival might have a little need. I'm not sure you're planning this, Curt, but for like a session that might help people understand the economy behind this, the creator economy, the potential, the platforms that are going to be there for the winners. It's almost like there's a little conference in there somewhere.
Oh yeah,
but maybe
that
we
is
should
part
do
of the
TVOT.
festival. We will have panel discussions on exactly that over the
Okay,
two
great.
nights. So
I
absolutely.
forgot
Good.
to answer.
I'm probably looking at the two panelists right here. So, absolutely.
Well, I mean, Curt, that's if you can handle me not shutting up because I talk too much. I didn't answer the question around how I met Curt, and I actually just really want to take a moment to answer that because it's really important to me. It means a lot. When I first launched Sinima, he was one of the first people to give me a platform. And being a founder in tech, we still do not have fundraising. Everything is bootstrapped by me. And we're on the process of hiring our first software engineer right now. We're a team of 4 total. Curt was really the one that gave me a voice in this space. He was the first one that really paid interest in what we were building. And he interviewed me on his podcast. And I just knew right then that we were going to be friends for a long time. And when he asked me to be a judge on this panel, I was more than appreciative and very grateful for the opportunity. I think what he's doing with the festival is really awesome. And I love that it's a hybrid festival. It's not just all 100% AI work. So I think that really respects the legacy of Artures across, the globe. It's not just a matter of, AI schlop is what he said. It's one of his posts, which I love. So yeah. That's how I met Curt.
Tony, you're going to be dealing with, the monetization aspects as well. I mean, are you in competition with what Lisa's doing, or can you collaborate?
No.
How do you work as a distribution network with a platform that says it wants to protect its content? And then the question I asked you before, which is, how do you raise visibility on the OEMs, the Samsung, the Vizio, the Rokus, the Fire TVs, so that you can monetize and the creators can monetize? Like, what is the end game to and then I guess the next question, and you can answer it all as part of one thing if you please, is that aren't those platforms the gatekeepers? Aren't they going to take a piece of this? Are you negotiating, you and Lisa, are you negotiating with the OEMs of the world? What is the economy of all of this?
Yeah, so we both have marketplaces, but they're different marketplaces. Creators come to us to sell to their fans and interact directly with their fans. So that's different than a creator putting up work that then is ultimately going to be licensed by an engine, essentially, to then train and put into their engines in their world. That they're different models for now. They might overlap at some point in the future, but I think there's more ways for us to work together now than anything. We've had people come to us and ask us if they could, people on the training side, if they could get access to our library and pay us to give that content to them, and then ultimately pay creators. But we haven't built the system like that, so we potentially could, but it just makes everything more messy. So we just avoided that, and so there's probably more of an opportunity for us to partner in that regard. We're lucky to have Sony as an investor, so we get placement on Bravia televisions, and we get we're on the PlayStation. We're one of only a handful of media apps on the PlayStation 5, which has 110 well, it depends on if you're talking to PS4 and PS5, it's probably a couple 100 million people. But it's weird, we snuck into this little side door, mostly because we were a VR company initially. So we were a global launch partner on the Morpheus headset, which became the PlayStation VR. And then the PlayStation VR 2 launched, and they basically eliminated all media from that device entirely except RAD. So the only way to watch any video content on the PlayStation VR 2 is RAD, period. There is no YouTube on there. There's no Netflix, none of that. So it's a small footprint, but really we developed a strong relationship with Sony through that. And then ultimately we now are on the main PlayStation, and that's a pretty hard place to get to, but it's a pretty decent sized audience. And the other ones just end up being pay to play. If you want feature access, we do innovative things that are kind of what's next in a lot of cases. So we've had Apple feature us. We've had Google feature us directly. We've had Amazon Fire feature us directly because we're doing just innovative things to push the boundaries on those devices. And so we try not to pay for placement and just try to innovate our way to placement. And that's
would you
worked out.
collaborate? Would you? I mean, Albert Chang set up the AI studio for Amazon.
Yeah.
That would be a great partnership, wouldn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, we're kind of baked into those devices and innovating on those devices. And really, like, what we've seen in the past is like, with new technologies, how do creators access that in a way that is like, with VR, it was hard to distribute. With Web3, it was also hard to distribute because the smart contract layer was like this weird black box for a lot of people. And so we built that so that for it to be easy. And now we built in automated tools like AI upscaling and, viral prediction and things like that, which are things that creators don't want to mess with, but they also don't want to use like 10 different tools to go get all of those things in one place. And so we just put it into one place and they click enhance and it like, it does all of these things.
So I would say, is Hollywood taking notice? Are the studios looking at you? Are you getting calls? All three of you, because there's a lot of work being done to bring these tools into the pre-production, post-production. But are the studios aware of the work that you're doing?
I would say with cinema, we're fairly new. We would love to broker those studio deals. I think, we are going to be the go-to for rights cleared, high quality cinematic content, and not just feature films, right? We're talking about activating the B-roll of people, hard drives that are just collecting dust, and so many filmmakers, documentarians, people sitting out there with excess footage that could essentially be trained on not necessarily their finished, most prized work, right? So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and I think if we can broker deals with larger enterprise organizations, it'd be great. But the thing is, the most important thing for us is our creatives and their control. And so we would never broker a deal where it hands over all of their creative work forever and ever. It'll really be brokered like a studio deal, licensing certain catalogs for a certain period of time. I think that the creatives deserve that equity, and I think that they deserve those rights as well, because typical training models would train by buying a whole pack outright, and that's it. That's the end of the royalty agreement. So we are doing things differently, and I think if studios were smart, they would probably align with us sooner rather than later, because we are going to have an influx of creatives who will prioritize cinema over other platforms very soon because of how we take care of them.
Curt, are you talking to studios yet, or are we still very siloed in an emerging community?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that a lot of the studios have started to make deals. The A24 deal with Google was a recent one. I reached out to them, for sponsorship opportunities, but it's still a hot topic. Hollywood is divided. I think there is a thaw that is happening. And that's one reason why I parked the festival in Southern California, based on the success of, conferences like AI on the Lot, which had 2,400 attendees. I said, okay, well, I'll park it at a movie theater in Glendale, which is in Los Angeles, and, tap into that community, so I can park the festival anywhere, but why not start it where I know there's a hungry audience? And even though it's divided, there's still, fans, and it's really about hybrid production and all the players in the whole supply chain of the film industry, and not just AI filmmakers. So I think that's really an important focus in terms of who needs to come to this festival, who needs to network. And it goes beyond just the solopreneur AI filmmaker from, Belgium or something. And we have those, and they're doing fantastic stuff. But there's also the lure and appeal of coming to Hollywood to try to network to see if they have a chance to work in Hollywood or not. And I think, these opportunities with, Lisa and Tony, is that, the models are changing, and Hollywood is going through some things and its own disruption. Meanwhile, all these other distribution networks popping up, all these other creators from all over the world are making films, and they don't necessarily need Hollywood. And that's a major distinction and an empowerment. And that's why really the original goal of the festival was to get these things off of YouTube and get them on the big screen. If you say you're an AI filmmaker and you're doing cinematic storytelling, then let's make a festival where it's about real storytelling that can hold an audience on the big screen. That's the ultimate test, because that will be the ultimate test in theaters, is whether the audience will accept AI films that are just now getting into theaters. And I believe that, in a few years from now, that they will accept it, just like they accepted, Pixar animation, let's say.
I would say San Francisco is a good target. So consider bringing this up to TVOT.
I think we should hitchhike onto your fall conference.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because seriously, there were thousands of people at that magnific conference that I just went to a couple of weeks ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And so much enthusiasm. There are a lot of creators here. I was just at OpenAI yesterday. There's a lot of things happening here in San Francisco, but I'm not here to promote San Francisco necessarily. My question to you guys, though, is since you're working with the platforms and PlayStation, maybe Roku, I'm not sure if you're working with the aggregators like Netflix, are your needs being considered when you're talking to these aggregators or these platforms? These platforms are not AI, first, right? They're not AI ready. They're still in the process of enabling all of this kind of content. They have their own strategy. What are those conversations happening right now in terms of making your dreams come true? Are you advising them? What's happening? Where are we on that?
I'll let Tony take that one. My business is a little different than his.
I mean, I think we're seeing AI creators be deplatformed from YouTube. We're seeing Netflix very clearly getting into AI, but not necessarily on the flagship part of it, right? They have a little thing going off on the side. And, it's and it seems like everybody's doing that. And so, that's why we leaned all the way in to AI creators and featured them and put them, and it's we have DMCA takedowns. If somebody wants to file DMCA takedowns, they can, but at this point, the automated system that's in place is culling a lot of AI creators off of the major kind of social media platforms, and the major streamers are not there yet, and it'll probably be a while before they get there. And so, from our perspective, it's how do we highlight these new stories? How do we elevate them and use that as a differentiator? And it's in the streaming space, it's bloody waters. It's everybody is competing for those eyeballs and attention. And so as a distribution platform, there's really only a couple ways to differentiate. You're either getting content that people don't have, or you're getting an audience that people don't have, or you have technology that people don't have. And we're trying to kind of put that mix together that allows us to differentiate from what's going on out there. So I wouldn't say that we're necessarily at odds with any of them. I think the pie is just getting bigger, and we've found a place to grow it ultimately. But that's how we see it.
I've just heard also that this week in Cannes, right, because the Cannes Lion show is going on, that OpenAI, was talking about advertising in ChatGPT, et cetera. But there's also some interest in or exploration of interactivity and chatbots as part of the whole process of delivering or creating content. I mean, obviously AI creators are already using that methodology, but what do you guys think about that? Is that something that you think would work in a TV setting, where your creators could create a mechanism to allow the viewers to create their own content, but somehow working in partnership with the creators' content? I'm asking, this is more TV of tomorrow kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you?
It's crowdsourcing your entertainment, and people have been trying to do that a lot over many years, with some success, but not really. And I think AI has empowered storytellers in a brand new way. That collab effort where that failed, and so it'll be an interesting space to see if AI can solve that problem and get over that hurdle. But in the meantime, the empowerment of creators all over the world is, I believe, far more interesting because then it's your story. It's these individual stories. And, that's, we've gone through this evolution of experimenting with these tools. We've gone through almost 2.5 years of that. And I call that, the AI slop, and you had a lot of hacks just saying, hey, look, Ma, look what I did. And putting it up there.
And vegetables.
Yeah, it's just
I'm
like
tired of this.
And so as the slow adoption of real creators started to embrace the tools of AI, their legacy of 20, 30 years in the industry as editors, creative directors, storytellers, now they're embracing the tool. And now we're at this point where there's this kind of rebirth of generative storytelling that, goes way beyond the AI slop. And so all the hacks are kind of fading into the background. And now these leaders are emerging. And to me, that's fascinating. And that's what these festivals enable, and AI festivals enable and empower and give these creators platforms to show their work, let alone find alternate forms of distribution. So, that's my take on, what's happening. But, crowdsourced entertainment, there's been fan-based funding as well. That hasn't done that well. But in the meantime, I'm most excited about what's happening with AI and cinematic storytelling.
Well, we're kind of reaching the end of the interview, so I want to do my lightning round with you. So I would love to hear, besides your own company, one company that you think we should all be watching. Lisa?
Oh God, I knew you were going to ask this. Let me think.
Or maybe a creator, or if you really, somebody who's really put you on the spot.
I've been so selfishly buried in my own company. I think I'll speak in general terms because I think that there's not one creator. One thing I will say though is that building a tool in the AI space right now is not enough. And I just spoke with my advisor about this yesterday. I think one thing that I'm watching collectively as a whole for the industry right now is how creators are becoming entrepreneurs and filmmakers, and how filmmakers are becoming creators, and how the system around Hollywood is dismantling, but it's not all bad. I think I'm really just looking at it with an eagle eye and looking at how things are maneuvering and shaping the industry right now. And I think one thing that I've really got my eyes on is how, and this is why cinema is around, right? It's like, how can we protect our creatives more who are now becoming enterprise organizations, right? It's a team of 9 or 10 people are now almost Forbes lists, and that whole Forbes list just came out with all the creators right now. Some creators are going public with their companies soon. Like, the world has completely shifted. And I think as long as, Curt had a really good point. Like, I think, a year ago, I think we were both testing a bunch of tools as well. And I think, a year from now, we'll probably have a different conversation. Who were the creators that actually stood the test of time? Who were the apps, the tools, the features, the systems, the products that actually stuck around? And I'm really proud to say that cinema has stuck around. And I think we will be here next year and 10 years from now and 20 years from now. But yeah, I think I don't have one specific person that I'm watching. I'm kind of watching a collective group of how creatives and filmmakers are becoming one, and how they're also becoming entrepreneurs.
Tony, company we should be watching, or a creator, something that's pushing the business for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a class of application, but like Hermes, I'm sure you've seen floating around. OpenClaw kind of kicked off the trend, the hype train around that. But, this idea that like you can have a desktop application that becomes like the brain and the hub, and I think this shifts a lot of the ways that we've been thinking about this and how it affects our business is, websites at some point are probably going to be irrelevant for the most part. And, even from a product perspective, that those things become headless and everything happens through like MCP servers. And, essentially you have one place that has all of your brain material around it, whether that's videos or documents or whatever. It knows everything about you, and then it has connective tissue into all of these services that can do a bunch of different little things. We've exposed this intentionally and strategically on the RAD side. Like every single thing you can do inside RAD is now exposed via MCP, which means that you can be in Hermes or OpenClaw or whatever, and you can say, upscale this video, will it go viral, push this to RAD, whatever. And then you're just vibe producing your workflow as you see fit. You don't need to go
coding.
I vibe code for sure. And so like that's really the paradigm shift there, is that you don't need to go to a website and be pigeonholed into a way of operating now. You essentially can pick the way you want to operate, and then make sure you set up the environment around that, and then just go. And so, we've reoriented the platform around kind of this Hermes OpenClaw kind of Claude cowork paradigm, but also in preparation for, it's like, it's weird to even talk about, but like, and some people don't want to talk about it, but eventually like one person in front of their computer has 10 agents or 20 agents working on their behalf all the time, making their own decisions and maybe even having their own budgets. And so at some point we have to start designing for agents as the customer and not the humans. The humans will be the orchestrator and the harnesses that get set up. The bots will be the ones making the decisions. And so you have to have a system that can be, a human can interact with it, but also doesn't need to, and it could be fully autonomous. So that's why I say Hermes, because that kind of enables that situation.
I feel like you coined a new phrase, the vibe producing. I like it.
Oh yeah, all right, I'll take it.
It's either gonna like piss a lot of people off, or it's really gonna land. But I actually think that makes a lot of sense, the way that you did that. It like visually made sense to me.
Well, all of these creators and platforms have got to be aware that this content needs to reach all kinds of platforms. And how do you control that mammoth experience as a single creator? It's a gigantic challenge ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's becoming less of a challenge because of agentic AI. And I was going to say there isn't one company. It's really agentic AI that Tanya was just describing is the game changer, and that's the thing to watch, because I can have 20 different agents helping me and automating things, and that same transference of skills should be empowering and liberating to creators. They just have to understand it, and it has to get a little more mainstream, and it has to be accepted by the community. And once that happens, there's just going to be an explosion of empowerment, and these creators becoming, their own Mr. Beast, and why not? And that's what's really, I think, scaring Hollywood, is like they're losing control, and that the old studio system is just evaporating before their eyes with these tools and this technology, and literally an army of thousands and millions of people who want to make their own stuff, and that's the new world. And to me, that's exciting. As we talked about, stories never getting to be told. You think about, repressed countries, all you need is a laptop and Wi-Fi access, and all of a sudden someone can, create a story of their journey and whatever strife or whatever story they need to tell. It's quite empowering and really cool. And it's those stories that need to bubble up and be given a platform. And that's one of the reasons, I picked Tony as our only distribution platform, is because, I think AI training was one of the first questions I asked. Does your content train? And he said no. And that's a promise that, is a kind of philosophical thing and the ethics thing around our film festival, is that we want to really treat filmmakers differently with respect, where a lot of tech companies who run these film festivals are not necessarily doing that. They're saying they own the content once you submit it forever. And it's like, well, that's complete BS. And so, so we're trying to do things differently and ethically. And that's why the festival is different than others.
Okay, well, we're going to end. I'm not going to ask a final question because that's a good ending. And I really appreciate it. Again, the deadline is the 29th.
The 29th, early bird pricing, yes. Otherwise, August 19th. And regardless of whether you submit, see you in October in Glendale at the actual festival.
I'm excited.
And that'll be in October. And the dates are, again, I feel like I can't remember.
October 7th and 8th.
7th and 8th. That's right, 7th and 8th. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate your being here. I'm excited to see how AI content transforms now that you guys are going to make it financially viable for those creators out there. Thank you for doing the work that you're doing, all of you, and bringing it, as my hero, Philo T. Farnsworth, invented television in 1927. You are absolutely part of developing the television medium in a new way.
Wow, that's very kind.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, everybody. Of course, we've just been speaking with Curt Doty, the founder of the CLOWD Film Festival, cloudfilmfest.com, and Lisa Trublet de Nermont of Sinima, spelled with an S. You'll see the graphic up here now in the recorded version. And Tony Mugavero from RAD. And thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for more another time. End stream.